Good evening, everyone, and I'm back with another topic. All right, so this topic is going to be rather interesting, I would think, but then again, it will definitely provide tips as to how you can be observant to the different people that you choose to be a part of your life um, in the terms of when you are dealing with a dating pool or any type of romantic situation. All right. So, um, when it comes to especially men, okay, and I guess women too, um, if a person zero in, if a person zeroes in on you a little bit too hard, too much, or it appears to be like the main thing that that they're pursuing, like they're studying you, like your English, math, or some sort of subject in school. I would say that that can be a red flag, especially if when you call them and they're always available. When you text them, they're like responding to you right away. Um, it's like they don't have a life. Okay, it's like they're sitting up, they're waiting on you to call them, or they're waiting on you to respond to whatever text they sent you. They're sending you like multiple gifts. I'm talking like GIF on the like electronically. Um, yeah, that's a little bit out there. When you think it's nothing wrong with anyone expressing that interest, but if that seems to be all that they're doing, and like when you do finally have that conversation with them, like they can't even really listen to what you are conversating about or conversing, excuse me, about. They're too much into you as a person, like always like giving you these compliments, like, oh, you're so beautiful, you're so sexy, you're so amazing, you're so talented, you're so this, you're so that. But then that begins to be like the focus of the whole discussion. You might want to be careful. That I would say would be obsession. That's not necessarily someone who is interested, like the type of manner that they're going about it. Like there's zero balance. They they're just focused on you. Like, maybe they don't even have a job. Maybe they're not doing anything else to better themselves. Like they just looking for somebody that they can grab a hold onto and call their own, and so forth and so on. Okay, so this is not just for men, this is also for women. But like I said, I'm a woman. As I said in previous videos from some months back, I am heterosexual, so I'm mainly going to speak on that because those are my experiences. I understand that women can be that way as well. Now there is a difference. Women, we are a lot more emotional, and we are more than likely always going to be in a hurry to project our interest onto someone once that does arise. But if you don't see any signs, such as what I just mentioned, that would stem from a man as to how he zero in on this particular female, then it might be a pretty decent thing. Um, But I just think if a person studies you a little bit too difficult, I mean, too much, too hard, and like they don't even have ears to listen to what you're saying, they're not paying attention. Like they're just so concerned and so focused on what you look like, and just pretty much anything that has to do with your physical appearance. I would say that that's not a good sign. All right. Now, when you move on into the next category of they're so interested in you, they're desiring you so tough, that they're talking about, pretty much hitting the sheets with you. Um, how is that when you don't even know them, right? Like, why are you interested in sleeping with me? You don't know who I am. You barely know my name. You don't know my favorite color. Like, you don't know anything, but you are already trying to hit the sheets with me. Like, does that really make any sense? But these people who carry those signs of what I'm just saying, that can also be a problem as well. I mean, it can happen to even a man who's not obsessed. It can happen to a man who that's all they're interested in anyway. It's just wanting to bone you. Like that's all they care about, right? And unfortunately, I hate to be a pessimist, but we all know that that is one of the main things that men strive for. So I'm not going to get off too much onto that. That's going to be a topic for another day. My main mission is to get, especially women and men, because like I said, women can be obsessive too, is to look out for those signs, okay? If a person is not busy enough in their life, they don't have any talents that they're pursuing on the side, any type of extracurricular activities, they're not working a job, they just all ears with you. And that's pretty much how it is, every day, all day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whatever. I would say that's not a good sign. And I would say that you probably will need to be careful, continue to observe, and, even ask some questions like, hey, I'm just curious, like, why are you always available when I call you? Or why are you always waiting on me to respond back to the text? I understand this is 2025 and, things are just so much different. It's different in terms of communication and technology, but here's the thing. Even back in the day, if someone was steadily calling you over the rotary dial phone, that is, because that's my era, that would be a matter of concern. Okay. Even if you are with them, even if they are your boyfriend, you're their girlfriend, or you're their girlfriend, and vice versa, whatever. Yeah, that would be a little too much. And I have an experience that occurred with me to where that situation happened to where actually left my place, like where I was living. And even though I was residing with my father and his wife, I was running away from the phone. I was very young. I was only 16, and I didn't quite understand why this person kept bugging my phone like that. And at the same time, I didn't even want to, inform my father or even his wife, because I did not feel comfortable talking to him about really anything. I didn't even feel important with them, okay? And so, again, I'm not going to get into that. That's another topic. But anyway, so I left home for like a few weeks because I wanted to get away from the phone. And I know that sounds crazy. You're like, oh, why didn't you figure out some other solution? Well, I couldn't. I was young and I didn't want to share with my dad, but I did share with a friend of mine's mom, and she was like, "Oh wow, like that person is a little bit too much, right? A little bit over the top." So anyway, I'm going to conclude with just make sure whatever you're doing, in the terms of when you allow someone to go into your life, to be a part of your life, that you are paying full attention, you are observing, you are definitely be alert and very careful about any moves that you make, anything that you say, because these people, they zero in on everything, what you're saying, what you're doing, and then it may not come out right away, but at some point, the jealousy, the insecurity, all of that's going to come out. They're going to be tripping. Like if you have children by another man, they're going to be like, they don't even want you to talk about that. And you're like, excuse me, I do have children by this person, so I have a right to talk about them. But look, these are my experiences. Maybe I share some tips today that might help someone that may be dealing with this. And hey, like I said, just make sure you pay attention, because crazy comes in all forms and sizes, and even people who appear to be pretty much a-okay, that sometimes something's wrong. I will admit I'm crazy. Yeah, I'm psychotic, but not like that. Like, I'm not gonna zero in on nothing, okay? I don't like you that much. Um, you know, Speaking of my past, yeah, I was pretty out there. I did my ex-husband like that. I thought about busting his windshield, all that old crazy stuff that people do. especially females, right? It's not really a man thing. So here's the thing. I got him. I got him. We had got married. We had children, but unfortunately, it was a situation that didn't last. Okay, so it goes back to what I said. A lot of times, if it's not a good thing, if it didn't start out on a solid foundation, it's not going to work. I was one of those who, yeah, I can change him. No, I found out quickly I couldn't after 10 or 15 years. Okay, but I did actually, I will take the credit that I did actually bring out a better side of him, um, which still prevails to this day, must I add. So I am proud of myself, but I'm definitely not going to take the full credit on that. I'm going to say that Almighty God definitely had a hand in that. And he's, like I've mentioned in other videos, he's a great guy. He just has some stuff that I just couldn't keep continually dealing with. And there's like more